And now what a wonderful story I have to tell you about Anja Niedringhaus. She is a photographer for the Associated Press. She focuses her lenses on lives that have been fractured and torn apart by conflict. She shows us the men, women, and children who stand in harm's way. Her haunting photographs have brought the images of war and destruction, triumph and survival to the pages of newspapers around the world. She captures these lives so that we will all see, feel, and know what it is like to be in the midst of war. She has her own battle scars. Her first assignment in Sarajevo, she was hit by a sniper's bullet. Later, a Belgrade cop deliberately ran her down as she was interviewing protesters. Today in Iraq, she risks her life to tell us about ordinary Iraqis, how they're surviving in the midst of never-ending suicide car bombings. Telling their stories is complex. It is subtle. It requires Niedringhaus to use her heart as well as her head. If you do not connect with people, she has said, you cannot cover it. Niedringhaus began photographing wars more than 15 years ago for the European Press Photo Association, and when she joined the agency, she immediately pushed for an assignment covering war then breaking out in Yugoslavia. Her bosses said no, too young, too unseasoned, and besides, she was a woman. Unyielding, she asked again and again every day for 3 months. Finally, they sent her to the front for the first of her many award-winning assignments. She joined the staff of the Associated Press in 2002 as a traveling photographer in the Middle East. She has covered the Gaza Strip, Israel, Kuwait, and Turkey, and now, of course, there is Iraq. In all these places, she stays apart from the pack of reporters, preferring to find her own way. She was an embedded reporter only once during the military offensive against Fallujah. Anja Niedringhaus's ability to empathize makes her a great journalist. The BBC colleague has said she has an ability to stay human even in the worst circumstances. She herself sees her work as a gift to the people she photographs. It is hard work. There is no time for ego trips, but reporting on conflicts for the outside world is her pledge to the people trapped in war zones. If you don't cover it, she says, nobody will know about it. Let's watch a video about Anja Niedringhaus.
As a university student in Germany in 1989, Anja Niedringhaus photographed the fall of the Berlin Wall. It was the beginning of a photojournalism career that has taken her to virtually every major war zone in the world. Niedringhaus never refuses tough assignments. She has been blown out of a car by a grenade in Kosovo, mistakenly bombed by NATO forces while trying to cross into Albania, and shot at by snipers in Sarajevo. Name the hot spot, she's been there. Amid crossfire in Serbia, Niedringhaus came face to face with 2 men with machine guns. She lifted her arms and shouted, "Novinar, journalist." The gunmen were so surprised to see a woman, they let her go.
Fear? Yes. Sometimes I feel it a little bit, but it's not permanent.
Photojournalists tend to cover the soldiers in military conflicts. Niedringhaus strives to capture images of the victims, women and children who share in the suffering. And for these photos of the siege on Fallujah during the Iraq War, Niedringhaus won the coveted Pulitzer Prize. The only woman on the winning team of 11 Associated Press photographers. Shooting photographs in a world that seems forever engaged in violence and bloodshed has never stopped her from seeing the humanity through her camera lens. Anja Niedringhaus.
Anja Niedringhaus.
Here she is.
Thank you very much. I think it takes me now courage here to speak here because I'm not very used for speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a special honor to win an award that celebrates courage. I've won several awards for my pictures, but this award celebrates the spirit of our work, being a journalist, a reporter, a photographer. I'm not here today to tell you my difficulties covering conflicts. The real difficulties and the real courage belong to those who are subjected against their will to conflicts. I do my job simply to report people's courage with my camera and with my heart. When I was 7, my grandfather gave me a globe, and as much as I looked, I couldn't find my hometown somewhere in Westphalia, Germany. That's when I realized how big the world is. My real travel started after finishing high school when I went to India to volunteer in a polio home for 3 months. I came back and I did freelance work as a writer. Soon I realized I could tell my stories far better with my camera than with words. So I picked up the camera and started to take pictures. Then I went for 6 months to South America during my studies. Coming back, I knew what I wanted to do, to report stories from around the world, to see events through my eyes and through a lens that comes from a safe place where the world is mostly in order. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. There were many countries that used to be blocked that all of a sudden could be discovered. I finished university and began my work with wire agencies because agencies can reach the whole world. Then the war started in the former Yugoslavia, and I didn't hesitate to cover them. I had no idea what war was. I was still half a child, seeing for the first time people dodging mortar rounds or trying to find shelter. Their courage was the most impressive thing for me. I wanted to continue this work and traveled most of the time to conflict areas. It's really their courage under difficult circumstances that gives me the energy to continue in this field. I feel fortunate to have worked on the front lines of all big conflicts of our era. After 15 years, my home has become a bigger place. I enjoy my work and I feel lucky that even under the most difficult circumstances, I can show the world a small view of what is going on. I choose to cover conflicts. That is the difference between my fellow awardees and me here today. They are living and working under pressure day after day, while I can tell everything an assignment. I could have stayed out of trouble most of my life, but always have been drawn to the people, no matter where, who suffer in difficult situations. My life outside my job is a safe place that many never have the chance to experience. And my grandfather's globes keeps turning, and I realize that there's always more to report. Thank you.